Sure shot, baby! So, good day, everyone. We're here for another episode of the DVD show. So, for today, we have one of the fathers that's a very supportive father to all his children that most of you guys know that are really in the basketball world nowadays, and they're very popular in their respective careers in basketball. And we have in the DVD show, thank you for joining me again, Paul, Bert Gomez de Liaño.
Thank you, Diego. Thank you. Hello, everyone.
Yeah, to start things off, po, I just wanted to ask, how have you been doing this whole pandemic recently? It's been over a year already. How have you been adjusting with the pandemic in terms of your work, your family, everything? Po?
Yeah, you can say this pandemic has brought many challenges. No? It's one thing's for sure. It's first time it happened in my lifetime, and
Yeah.
perhaps, and I hope it won't happen again. But then again, this is quite historical. No, it has changed. It has made a dramatic impact, at least to my family. I have six kids. All of a sudden, all six had to attend online classes. No,
Mm-hmm.
um, something like um, something like we're used to bringing the school. I mean, the children, the kids to school, or they go to school. The older one, and all of a sudden, we're especially last year we're stuck at home. No, we're stuck at home, trying to go about our business. I mean, when I say business, their studies. While I do my what do you call this? My shift. Um, work from home. So imagine the house had to be very had to shift from a normal house to to a study house, no, to adjust for the changes. At one point, they had to buy at least four or five laptops for them to study. We already had one, so there's six. So I remember at one point, uh, five of them were studying in different places of the house. Just to imagine, we had to increase the
Internet.
broadband
Yeah.
internet um, from a mere 5 Mbps to 50 because of the of the volume of the online
Mm.
demand. Not to mention, some of my kids also use it for gamings,
Yeah.
internet gaming. So imagine
Yeah. I
Netflix.
see.
Oh gosh, the evening after studies, and
Yeah.
a lot of YouTube, and so it's quite challenging. But we just keep on staying positive as much as possible. No, we cannot sit down and keep on ranting and let this pandemic take the best parts of our lives. No, we'll just have to live with it. We'll just have to accept things and there move forward.
Yeah, that's great to hear po that you guys adjusted well. Like it's nakakaiba nga, like it's unique on the stuff you did, like increasing the Wi-Fi or like having to have more laptops and like finding a spot in the house where to study. These are like things we never like imagined that we think
Yeah,
about like in our life because before we move around, like we go from place to place, and then now you have like adjustments that you needed to do.
yeah, true. It's quite something new, something
Mm.
that I think I'm not alone. I think majority globally had to
Yeah.
meet the same challenges. Um, I pity those who can't even afford. No, we um, of my boys went to UPIS. No,
Mm-hmm.
University of Philippines Integrated School.
Yeah.
That's part of it's their high school, which is part of the UP College of Education, and there are a handful of students wherein they cannot even afford laptops because these are scholar ng bayan, but have financial difficulties. So um, our group, the different parents who are able to come up with different, let's say, um, schemes on how to raise funds, no, for buy laptops, and we were able to deliver the money. We were able to. I mean, we cannot make everyone happy, that's for sure, because of the limited funding. But we
Yeah.
try our best just to be able to um, come up with um, the adequate support.
Yeah, that's great to hear po that you had an initiative to help others. Kasi nung itong pandemic, madami po talaga nahihirapan with various things in their life. Pero I'm interested lang rin po that you guys, you have 6 children, and like they're all like, I mean like the known basketball players like sila Juan, Javi, they're always in the court or in school. Like they barely stay at home siguro lalo na nung college sila. But netong pandemic, baka you guys had more time to spend together as a family. Especially you guys, you're like a big family. So ano naman yung mga quarantine activities po if you guys did anything to like bond and get closer together since you had the time?
Yeah, Diego, it's quite diverse, no? Especially well, no, this year it's more lenient. With the GCQ, they would go out now. No? They would go out. They would go to private places to train. No,
Mm-mm.
uh, uh, abiding with the IATF rules.
Yeah.
But back at the height, you could say we're in the lockdown were applied last year. I
Mm-mm.
had to borrow from my mom. Um, could you imagine? I had to borrow from my mom. She keeps in her house um, a makeshift basketball court. No, one of those ready to install. I had to put it in our
Mm-mm.
backyard so that consistently they'll keep on uh, putting their wear. Now they keep on practicing and never being idle because it's kind of hard for athletes just to automatically stop. Like
Yeah.
it's not their body looking for it. What's amazing, um, Javi, also with help of the other brothers, sets up the garage they set up as their own gym. They bought uh, barbells, they bought exercising equipment, and name it. No, I was quite amazed. No, it was they had their initiatives, and it really helped. It really helped how to what do you call this? It really helped how to never be idle because it's kind of
Mm-mm.
tough if you, especially athletes, be idle. It's kind of dangerous, no? Kasi kung di ka sumipag, guaranteed na overtake ka na ng iba.
Mm-mm.
That's a given. So, ang dami-daming activities no during pandemic. Me and my daughter naman, what we would do is more on the art. So we would go
Oh.
painting, no? We would go um on YouTube. We'd go tutorials on how to
Mm.
paint, acrylic
Yeah.
on canvas, oil on canvas. But so we're trying to figure out how to make the most out of time. So there's already a pattern. No? So school in the afternoon, they have to go out and just walk because we live in a village. You know, they have to walk around, bring out the dogs, or
Mm.
walk with some friends. Because this is an enclosed village, so relatively everyone's been quarantined in their own respective, And once there are cases of COVID, immediately it's our village do the necessary what we call this health uh, with measures to suppress it, no? or to control it. So yeah, over the pandemic, that's what we've been doing. Um, what's nice also, my other kids are now playing different instruments, the piano, the guitar. Uh, um,
Mm.
my daughter is now into baking. My it's so funny. We just had to, and as the saying goes, if life throws you lemon, it's
Yeah.
best time to make lemon. So might as well
Yeah.
make lemonade out of it.
Yeah.
And that's how we made out of it.
Yeah, magandang takeaway po yung sinabi niyo about an athlete. Kasi nga, like now, kumari, when I talk to my friends about UAAP, they say this player's good, this team's good, or this school is good. But like we all don't know how they've been training. Like what if but if it can go like they're really good now or baka mamaya hindi sila nagte-training tapos naunahan na sila nung mga bago. So maganda yung
Yeah,
takeaway po na talagang you need to continue striving to improve even with the restrictions or the limitations of the pandemic. So yun yung isang magandang nakuha ko po from what you said.
yeah, and Diego, it's okay. My kids also would have different online tutorials, no, different
Mm.
coaches from strength and conditioning to uh, what do you call this? To simple to complicated drills, no. They would do this. They would do this. What do you call this? Online. But the thing is, it's kind of different. It's online, especially when they're used to, coaches from their shooting coach, strength and conditioning coach, to the different coaches for their own disciplines. It's different if it's really there, actual, live.
Mhm.
It's perhaps the level of the temptation of just being complacent is greater, no? Kasi bahay, nandiyan lang yung kama, nandiyan ang Netflix, nandiyan ang
Mhm.
PS4, nandiyan ang computer games. It's so tempting just to chill, no?
Yes.
But then they know what needs to be done, and they the sacrifice is even greater, and hopefully when things get back to normal, um hopefully soon, um they would uh they would really go back to uh, with their coaches. I mean, those things will be very, very much appreciated.
Yeah, for sure po that yeah, we really like cherish the time lang now, pero we still need to find ways in order to like yeah, get better and not be idle because the temptation just gets bigger even with me like with online classes like my like you can just lie down na lang or yun nga manood na lang ng Netflix rather than study, which is not a good thing. So you just need to fight it off.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. True, true, true.
Yeah. How about po like the good topic that to talk about before like the parenting or like you being the father of sila Juan and Javi is like how you grew up po like from the beginning, like were you an athlete po ba from the start kaya yung mga anak niyo po na influence din maging athlete or ano po ba yung mga ibang activities that you were doing when you were growing up?
Yeah, nice question, Diego. No,
Yeah.
I was an athlete. I was a swimmer. Growing up, no, I would compete. I'd compete. I studied in Claret, so in grade school I would compete swimming. I went to Ateneo, so I was part of the varsity team. Not at the RP team level. Ibang level
Yeah.
yon. Di ko na, I wasn't that good. I would
Mhm.
always get, yeah. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed swimming. It was quite a passion, and that was my main goal when I had when I started having when I started having kids. No, my goal was never really basketball. It wasn't part of my plan. My
Mhm.
plan was to focus them on swimming. Focus that they would compete. They would compete a lot in swimming. Name it, from my eldest to the fourth. So I have six kids. So uh, as time passes by, I the first four kids I centered a lot when it comes to swimming. No? I made it interesting for them because I would juggle up swimming with aquathlon, um, with triathlon. Also, I would also at times mix it with duathlon, and of course the marathon. Um,
Mm.
and what was interesting was, I wanted so much for them to excel. I wanted so much for them to excel in that uh, discipline, and they enjoyed it. They enjoyed it at a young age. But then again, it reached a point wherein their influences, because all of my boys studied in Ateneo, grade school. The, perhaps the environment, the students, their classmates, I was what they would call peer pressure. They would you'll be more into basketball. What's the most famous sport? What's most
Yeah.
popular sport? So, may kaya na, tingnan mo na, wala. Halos wala akong kilala nagsiswimming sa dito. Lipat na ako sa basketball. So, their winning mentality, their mentality to strive, to finish was transferred to basketball. And it also helped that in our village, right behind our house, we have a basketball court there. So they would just
Okay.
chill there.
Mm.
And gone were the days wherein uh, video, what do you call this, video gaming and all of
Mm.
those television. No, they would enjoy staying with their friends, playing that sport outside the village. I mean, in within the village, but outside the house, what I meant.
Yeah.
And yeah, labas na sila labas, enjoy. Basketball sila 3 times a day. Okay, what can I do?
Yeah.
That's what you want. But I was never, if you ask me, ironically, I never taught them how the fundamentals. Let's say, that this you have to dribble like this, you have to dribble like that, you have to pass like this, you have to, no, never. Perhaps now I would watch TikTok and pass them video clips, but that's the most I can do. But I don't have. I think I'm not in the right position to even uh, tell them what to do now, because they are their own selves now. They know they have their own capacity to think for themselves when it comes to the sport of basketball.
Yeah, that's okay naman po, even if it's like that. Kasi syempre, pag yung iba rin, baka malito sila pag yun na yung sinasabi ng coach, tapos pag may sinasabi rin yung mga ibang tao. So I guess for you po, it's like the support naman, na-feel naman nila, nararamdaman naman nila that you support them with the basketball. And it haalata naman na even if yung swimming that they didn't love swimming as much as they love basketball, like now, it's already their career, like professionally in UAAP. It's okay rin naman po kasi, yeah, you still give the support that you would also give them if they weren't swimming.
Yeah, true.
Mhm.
I was quite kasi sayang, no. This month it will be the Tokyo Olympics.
Oo.
We call it Tokyo 2020, but we're already in 2021.
2020. Yes.
Yeah, my real goal there was to at least bring them, give a shot for the Olympics. No, my goal was to have the Philippines' first Olympic gold medal. That was my
Mm-mm.
goal from the very start. Um, until now we still don't have a gold medal. No,
Yeah, wala pa.
Olympics has been there. The most we did was silver.
Yeah.
Weightlifting, swimming, boxing. And if you notice, those medals come from individual sports,
Mm.
individual, um, sports that require only yourself, not a team. So I kind of figured, wait, I'll just perhaps spend 10 to 12 years grinding every time.
Mm.
But halfway through, somewhere there, perhaps God has other plans. I don't know. It just had to divert, just
Yeah.
diverted by stuff naturally. And I didn't force the issue. I didn't force the issue. So well, we're happy with that. Just like
For,
your first question, the pandemic, we just have to adjust and take it from here.
yeah. For you po ba, why did you decide to stop pursuing swimming when you were younger?
What do you call this? One thing, I started late.
Oh, okay.
Um, if you notice, let's say for example, our um the world class Filipina golfer, her name is
You
Sasol, if I'm not
Saso?
mistaken. Yeah, she
Yes.
started at the age of 3, or that's or very young age.
Mm-mm.
And if you look at her story, she had to give up. She had to give up so many things. Even I don't know if she stopped schooling but did homeschooling, something like that. But she had to sacrifice a lot for this opportunity. But in my case, I had to. I came in very late, even though mm, the willingness is there. But my mind, my body wasn't that competitive. Even though I was young back then, I know I couldn't just compete at an international stage. The thing with my kids, it's so nice because at a very young age, they were already competing. They were already competing. I remember age of 3, 4. They were already swimming. So
Mm.
I knew, I knew, I knew we had a shot. I knew we had a shot. But somewhere through, I remember when they had a swimming meet, a tournament. It coincided with one of their varsity uh, basketball tournaments, and they were practically, you know, they were already practically, you could say, crying for me, forcing the issue, pushing them to still swim, but they already
Mm.
knew they wanted to play basketball. So I said, "What the heck am I doing?" Okay,
Yeah.
just okay. From now on, do what you want. What can I
Mm.
do?
Yeah.
So, but everything's fine. Everything turned out to be as
Yeah, you mentioned nga po that you started late as a swimmer and you didn't decide to pursue it already like as a profession or as a career. But throughout like your tenure or like your journey as a swimmer, meron po ba kayong parang experience or like lessons na you always like impart to your children, like it maybe like even off, like not really related to swimming but like siguro life lessons that you'll always tell them even if it's for basketball or even not basketball. They can use it like even not in basketball.
you know the beauty of sports, especially when it comes to team sports, no? Because in swimming, there's what you call a relay. There's
Mm-mm.
what you call, let's say, a four-man relay. Um, you have a four-man team where one will jump after you. It's part of one
Yeah.
sport, and just like basketball, you need a lot of teamwork there, no? So
Mm-hmm.
perhaps if there are life lessons to be learned there, would just be strongly um, through leadership and camaraderie. Leadership, because you need to set the pace. You cannot show your teammates that no, you guys can lift me in times of trouble or something. No, you have to show your way and look. I have to lead the way and be strong and show them that is the way, and we can win it. Through our contributions one by one. No, I can do this. I can do that. Or you're in the point guard position, great. You're the center, you better do your job. Or you're in the wing, so you better
Yeah.
hit those 3-point shots. So I think it's all complete. Character formation is really instilled in sports because you would see a lot of what do you call this uh, a lot of it can be brought out in real life. I mean, if you become a good leader there, you'll eventually foster it and bring it up when you as you grow up outside the court. So it's quite crucial, and camaraderie and what do you call this, and the sense of you could say the sense of teamwork, and that's very crucial. Just like in the last um, OQT Olympic qualifying tournament
Mm.
of Gilas a couple of days ago, and Kwame was interviewed, and he kept mentioning, "I believe in my team. I believe in these players. They believe in me. We all believe in each other." That's so crucial. If you don't have that attitude as a team, it won't work. And
Mm.
I think they're in the right path.
Yeah, those are great points po that people could really like grasp from the things that you said because yun din yung isang naiisip ko, like if you do sports like at a young age parang na-embed na sa'yo like paglaki mo yung values or yung virtues na natuturo ng sports, like it's inevitable that it really gets taught to you at such a young age. So when you grow up parang parang it's already like habit na yung mga actions na ibang ginagawa, like yung pagiging sportsmanship or team player, like even if kunwari you don't continue your sporting career, like if you have great relationships with like your office mates or something, you could still flourish in a different
Right,
profession.
definitely.
Yeah.
Correct, Diego. You're right. No, I mean, it doesn't end there.
Mm.
Basketball, the basketball as a player has its limits because it's a youth sport. No, I
Mm.
mean, you can hardly see players play at 50 or at 60 or even at 40. Not
Mm.
like, let's say, in other fields or other professions, from doctors to lawyers to engineers. I mean, they can have their careers for the longest time, no? But in basketball, unless you shift to management or to coaching,
Mm.
playing will only get you so much.
Yes.
And I think they captured the idea at a very young age. Now this won't be forever.
Mm-hmm.
This your last game might be, your last performance. You're only good as your last game. So that's the thing that they have to always consider. Now, though they enjoy it, they love it, they have the passion for it. But truth of the matter is, it's a youth sport, and our bodies will give up one way or another, wear and tear.
Yeah, that's really great because some athletes sometimes when they're already like successful, they don't want to finish their degree or they're already kind of like timid in finishing the units left. But then I've heard so many like interviews that si CJ Perez, for example, like Coach Topex would tell him na even if nasa PBA ka na, kailangan mag-graduate ka pa rin sa Lyceum. And they're not even in the same team anymore in the PBA. Pero parang pinipilit niya or like kinoconvince niya na to finish his degree because it might be to his advantage when he grows up when he's not playing basketball anymore.
Yeah, I think more importantly is me with the degrees that they would have is what will you do with it? What I'm
Mm.
trying to say is um what now? No, I mean, okay, you have a degree, you graduate. What will you do with it? What I'm trying to drive at here is this. No? You can finish. You can even have a doctorate degree,
Mm.
um, for whatever reason. But if you won't use it for the betterment, um,
Mm.
or trying to find the right term here, let's say if you won't use it for others, I find it a little um, um, what for, no? Parang give me
Yeah.
a little of, say, me, the way I look at it, when it comes to graduating and having a degree, it's good and all. It's also good for let's say income, the house, like that. And then when you reach a certain level, um, what will you do with it now? No? All I'm saying is just they have to be responsible with what they have. I think that's a bigger goal. That's a more important goal to it.
Yeah, that's also great because sometimes nga baka napilitan lang din tapusin yung degree. Like maybe I don't know who specifically, but maybe. But then what's important is you really use it. Like even if you're like 40 na or like 35 after your career in sports, it will still be to your benefit because you still need to work until what pag-retire ka you're old na. It's still like 60 plus or something. So mahaba pa yung buhay mo. So dapat you still have something to do like other than basketball or volleyball or any other sport.
Yeah, yeah, true, true,
Yeah.
true.
Yung magandang point din that we talked about off the record is when you studied po in UANP because I can relate po because I'm also from Southridge. So it's like Opus Dei and like the teachings are like Opus Dei related, like have strong faith like in the Catholic faith. For you naman po, what do you really like the best about like the Opus Dei culture, and do you also like practice it with your family even if you graduated na po from UANP like before pa when you met your wife?
Yeah, it's what do you call this? Studying in University of Asia Pacific really taught us how to, you know, um, give importance, let's say, to the different values, to the different virtues. As much as I would like not to talk about the topic because I have so much yet to prove.
Mm.
But as a family, we try to make it as what do you call this? You could say as lively as possible. It's quite important what we learn from you could say the Opus Dei. That's why I have 6 kids, and having 6 kids, perhaps it's quite normal to have an Opus
Yeah.
Dei family
Mm.
to have that. But could you imagine if what do you call this? I was telling my wife, it's quite nice where we're in right now, no? Having wonderful children. At times they give us headaches. It's true.
Yeah.
But every time I recall, because recently I look at some videos I took when they were young, and
Mm.
I transferred them from mini DVDs to MP4s. No? And I would recall how I think we did our part. We're in raising them up in a in a home wherein everyone's respected, everyone everyone have their differences, and and their growth and responsibility have uh, uh, it's paramount. No, they need to be responsible with one another. Um, Not that they're always responsible. I mean, no, they would also make mistakes. They would uh, there were there were challenging moments, you could say, but uh, but it was quite crucial how we tried to instill some values. No, uh, until now we even say the rosary every day. No, after dinner, and we try to involve um, each and every one, even though they're, let's say, in the bubble or
Mm.
perhaps abroad. We try to make time, and we connect through messenger, and as a family, as one, not just to give that sense of we all belong here. We had
Mm.
we have our differences. We quarrel at times. We get mad at each other. We solve things together.
Mm.
We try to do, and no one's left. No, and everyone respects who they are, how they are, and how they'll be, and the level of support has to always be there.
Yeah, I could relate po to what you said kasi nga I'm from Southridge then, and yun when I went to Southridge, that's also one of the main reasons my parents put me in that school because of the values nga daw that and the virtues that I'll learn because those are like forever, like even if you're old na magagamit mo pa rin yun. And I don't know, maybe not every school in the Philippines will be able to teach that to their students, even if it's not like part of the curriculum or something. It's just more in the culture and the environment, like in your household po, like the stuff you teach them, even if there's like arguments and debates about
Yeah,
things, you
yeah.
guys still have
I
a
mean,
very like peaceful environment.
Jago, we're not perfect here. We're not
Yeah.
perfect. Uh, we also make mistakes, and but what we try to do is if there's a problem, we try to address it immediately. We cannot prolong it,
Mm-mm.
and what do you call this? It's nice at the same time, but the nice thing here is that everyone is so upbeat. Everyone's so um, you know um, lively. I don't want to create this house like a museum. No, no, that's not my goal. I try to make
Mm.
this as a place where they can participate, a place they can grow, and a place they can have, you could say, spiritual guidance. Even though I
Mm.
also have my struggles,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's something that it's a work in progress. We're not perfect, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's really, yeah, that's for sure that no one's perfect po. So it's okay naman, but that you guys always have like your lapses or wrongdoings. But I think it's really great that you guys still like learn from it and you'll be able to be a better like family this ano like even with those shortcomings, because yeah, sometimes those are what makes the relationship stronger than as a family.
Yeah,
So, how about po yung growing up, like I don't know po like how you like your parenting philosophies and all, like how you made them, yeah, get into swimming at first. But the one thing I'm curious po about is how did you like balance being like yung parang strict or yung uptight na parents, kasi like yun alam niyo po like you were an athlete then and they were an athlete, and how did you like balance that and have the freedom also of doing what they want to do?
yeah. What's nice in the house is that my style is totally opposite, let's say, with my wife. Um, their mom is more on the disciplinarian side. They
Mm-hmm.
discipline a lot. No? My philosophy is more chaotic. I don't know. I don't know if you'll believe me, but I let them be who they are. If
Mm-mm.
they're rowdy, I let them be rowdy to the point that my wife gets mad already and control this.
At you.
Uh, yeah. I don't know how to explain it. Chaotic, but at the same time orderly. I don't know how to put
Mm-mm.
it. But there's a
Mm-mm.
balance. There's a very big balance there that we apply. Um, Orderly in a way because we have to be disciplined with the time, with you could say with the exercises, drills, not to mention school, putting aside school. No,
Mm-mm.
at the same time chaotic, having fun, enjoying what they love, not depriving them of for example, soft drinks. Ako pa nga bad influence eh. I'm the bad influence. So, I'm the one buying soft drinks here. And every time I open the ref, walang hardly walang umiinom. Parang ako pa yung bad influence. And it comes from them. They themselves say, Papa, it's all sugar. Why were you doing that?
Uh,
Para ako pa yung devil's advocate here. But I'm happy that they know their limitations.
yeah.
They know their what do you call this? The cause and effect of life. No, if you drink soft drinks, more sugar, you better burn it. I mean, if you don't burn it, that won't be converted to energy, and that will be stored as fat. So they know the cause and effect. So it's quite interesting how this has turned about.
Yeah. That's really interesting po na kayo pala yung chaotic na type na father. Kasi syempre from the outside point of view, hindi ko naman malalaman dyan unless nga you shared some of the stories that you shared. Pero that's really great nga po. Pero like even if they're like 6 children, did you like the way that you raise them, like yeah, as a father, that you make them do what they want to do, or like you make them have more freedom than like your wife? Did you like did man change, but like was it different for all the 6 of them on how they grew up, or was it more of similar lang?
You know, nice question, Diego. Parang uh, to each own eh. What do I mean by that? Parang um everyone has their way of growing. Uh,
Mm.
um, what do you call this? Everyone has a different way on um, looking at you could say life, I think, and how to go about it. Um, what do you call this? Uh, yeah, I remember a fun fact. No, let's say I remember. Let's say si Juan. I when he I think he joined one of those tournaments, if I'm not mistaken, perhaps he joined the Gilas 16
Mm-hmm.
under now. Um, when what do you call this? When I knew his level, his caliber, when it comes to the sport of basketball. No? At a young age, he would dominate grade school, like even in high school. No? Then I remember when he went to what do you call this? Uh, the training for the Gilas under 16. He had a good game and all, but I knew I knew he wanted and he could do more. Um, back in that was perhaps I'm talking about 5 6 years ago. I knew he could do more for the team, but at that level, once you're already representing the country, you also will be you also I mean he would also be with the different good basketball players. And so what I'm trying to drive at, he wasn't given too much, playing time and all.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt him, no, he wanted to do more, he wanted to, and he goes, pa, I want a break. Could you imagine at the age of 16,
Mm-hmm.
someone saying, I want a break. I'll go with my friend to Las Vegas, to California first, to the US,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, and he paid for his own trip. He was able to save up, um, and what do you call this? He went there just to chill, just to spend
Clear
more
his mind.
time for
Parang ganun.
himself. Yeah, correct, correct. so that to have a better um, thinking of what to do next. And at a young age, at 16, traveling alone. Could you imagine
Yeah.
traveling alone with this friend, a neighbor of ours, uh, living in his house in California? They enjoyed a lot. They went to Nevada, they went to Hoover Dam, they went to the Strip, they went name it. So I was
Mm.
happy. I was looking at their Instagram, and to each its own. At the end, these kids know how to handle um, difficulties in life and at a young age. And yeah, I'm very, very happy and glad for those.
Yeah. You mentioned nga po na yung difficulty that he encountered because of that stint yung sa national team, and he felt that he could do more pero he wasn't given like more playing time. Pero for you as a father, pag lumalapit sila sa'yo because of problems like that, gaano ka-active ka po with the advice that you give, and are they very open also with approaching you with their problems like that, like in basketball or even with life?
Yeah, I think they're quite open enough, especially if it's something really emotionally draining. What do you call this? Let's face it, in the sport of, let's say, basketball, um, you have, especially when you're representing the national team, you only have to field in around 12 players. So within those 12 players, they have to be the elite of the elite, supposedly. And it's inevitable once you're dealing with the best, and you could say coaches would prefer others. Um, he has to internalize and take it up maturely. So at a very young age, he needs to analyze, how can I improve? How can I win that spot? How can I play more? How can I prove that, hey, I'm worth more playing time than the others, like that, no? So it's a healthy environment because all of these are healthy competitions. These are not these are this won't make them complacent. Um, because that's the danger of it, no? That's the drive that will keep on pushing them. If if complacency enters the picture, that's something to worry about. They can never be complacent. They can never be in their zone. They can never be in their comfort zone. If not, growth will never come.
Yeah, that's great to hear po from you, because as a huge basketball fan, like I could see Javi like develop, because he even lost weight nung after he got yung sa Gilas yata yung hindi siya nasama sa lineup. Then after parang he lost weight, tapos he developed an outside shot. He played the wing yata more because in UP, there was a time that nilalagay yata siya sa 4 eh. Hindi naman siya comfortable dun. Parang mas comfortable siya sa 2 or 3. So, yun, alam ko, like, he lost weight na. Tapos, nung naglaro siya nung game against Thailand, I think, sa Bahrain, he flourished nung pinalaro siya ng matagal the second game. So, yun yung magandang example that I thought of rin po.
Correct, correct. Jaga, I mean, it's nice that you notice those things. No, it's true. In life, what do you call this? Particularly, let's say, Javi mentioned, no.
Mm.
Um, in the, he was placed at that position, because of the situation. There are just perhaps so many guards, wings
Yes.
that he had to put, adjust to the max. This
Mm-mm.
will just bring him more, um what do you call this, it will just give him more maturity in how to deal, especially when it comes to switching, no, at the end, when if you don't, even though you're 6'5", all of a sudden they switch you with a guard, that's around 5'8", you'll learn how to be faster. The moment
Mm.
the moment they switch you, all of a sudden you have Ange Kwame in front of you. You better know how to defend.
Yeah.
That's the life of basketball right now. And
Mm.
and yes, what's nice with um the Gilas program, especially under Coach Tab Baldwin, he flourished. Javi flourished. It's a given.
Mm.
He brought out the best in him. He would call this. In fact, even before that, no, he was already practicing um, under coach Mark Little.
Yeah.
Because
Mm.
Coach Tab was the I think Coach Tab was
Program
the program
director. Yeah.
while he signed Mark Little, who also wore two hats. No, I think back then he was the head coach of or
TNT.
active consultant of TNT. They
Yeah.
call it active consult, but
Yeah.
de
Yeah.
facto he's
Mm.
the coach. No,
Yeah.
so it was challenged last year. No, what's nice. Let's face it. What's nice dealing with international coaches and perhaps as Filipinos, we need to learn more from them. Is that they're straightforward. They're
Mm-hmm. For
straightforward. They
sure.
tell you in your face what's right and wrong. They tell you
Mm-hmm.
how to improve. And if your feelings get hurt, you have to
Mm-hmm.
suck it up. You have to
Mm-hmm.
because what do you call this? You want to improve. You want to be better. You better suck it up, really. So what happened was, I never doubted the ability of Javi from the start. He was an MVP at the grade school level, MBL twice. He was Mythical 5 UAP um, junior level. He was his accolades are so on so on. So I never doubted him. It's just a matter of grabbing the opportunity when it came. So when the first window came against Indonesian coach Martito was there, when they mentioned and they gave the lineup, the roster, his name wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
He felt bad, and I feel for him. So he said, "Coach, what's wrong? Tell me. I would perform. I would do this. I would do that." And Coach Mark did just ask him one question: "Do you look like a basketball player?" Okay, that was his gauge. Do you look like a basketball player? Meaning
Mm-hmm.
to say, the idea of a basketball player would be the lanky, muscular, uh, you know, perhaps a Kiwi, Australian, or even
Mm-hmm.
European uh, um, players that are lanky and muscular. No, back then he was around, I think around 225.
Mm-hmm.
225 was flabby then. No, nag-ano sila, you could say nagunahan sila ni Pasaol sa extra rice. Ganun sila kalaki.
Yeah.
So, so what happened was then he felt challenged. Okay, if my skills are 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 are, are of no question, and if physical appearance count a lot, I'm gonna prove to you physical
Yeah.
appearance count a lot
Mm.
because so he lost around 30 pounds in a span of 6 months. Um, he cut down. He was hitting around I don't know how many thousands of calories every day just to really be fit. He changed his diet. He went to all protein. He
Mm-hmm.
lessened on the carb. He everything's everything has to be weighed, and yeah, then when the time came and he was in, yeah, he performed. His averages were incredible. Were 13 points a game. I don't know how many rebounds, assists
Mm-hmm.
per game in the second window, and he had an efficiency ratio of field goal was around 87%. He just missed
Mataas, yeah.
one in
Yeah.
7 shots, something like that.
Mm.
Ang dami ganun. Perfect in free throws, blah, blah, blah. Perfect in 3 points. Ability, I never questioned. So if the appearance counts a lot, okay, we'll change it. That's what we
Yeah.
want. We'll change it.
Yeah.
No, but of course, that appearance, losing 30 pounds weight means a lot because you improve really in your performance. You're
Mm.
faster. You jump higher. You're more agile. You're more. So it's true what my coach Tickle mentioned. If you become that, if you really look like a basketball player, you will be the basketball player ideally of the national team.
Yeah, that's straight to the point nga po na sinasabi mo. Like, some people might get hurt. I mean, syempre, yung iba may ma-hurt talaga and hindi mo naman mafo-fault na masasaktan sila. Pero yung iba, maganda yung reception or yung pagtanggap nila kasi ngayon, si Javi, he really strive to be better and nahalata naman yun dun sa following games. Kahit na-delay yung games kasi nga nagka-pandemic. But at least Javi took it like for the better, like as a way to make him better. Kasi the others might like complain or be like, ang yabang naman ito, ang daming sinasabi. He's not the one playing, di ba? So at least for him, he was able to become better pa rin as a individual. And I think he'll continue to do that for years to come.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
Let's pray for it.
Yeah. How about po with like helping them deal with like criticism? Because like for example, see Juan, like he was flourish before the pandemic, he was flourishing with Mighty Sports, I think, and he was part of the other Gilas teams. And then he in the second window, he was also really good. And then bigla hindi siya nasama for this FIBA Asia Cup qualifiers and OQT sa Serbia. And si Javi rin nung 3 games dito sa FIBA Asia Cup qualifiers, hindi siya masyadong nagamit. And nung OQT, na-cut rin siya. So yung syempre, people are like criticizing either them or the decision of the coaches on why they didn't include them because they're really talented naman. So syempre, preference naman nung coach yun or nung culture nila. But for you, how do you like keep them like level-headed and tell them the right way to approach these situations?
Yeah. You call this I think okay, how can I put it? Um One thing's for sure, no, challenges will come.
Mm,
If I'm not mistaken, I'm just saying this from a parent's point of view. I'm not talking from other points of view, coaching staff or my son. I'm just telling from my point of view so that at least we have
yeah.
a gauge, no. At
Mm,
first, I was quite. I'll be lying to you if I tell you I wasn't affected
mm,
because yeah, coming from that window we're in, particularly one was named the MVP for
mm,
for that window because of his consistent performance. Um, then being cut in the third, I think he kept it real with Coach Tab and said, um, what do you call this? When he was cut, he kept it real. Coach Tab mentioned, yeah, because you had tooth problems, you came in late for the at the beginning of February. You were lingering with injuries like that. So they kept it real. So, but I know my son, those injuries easily, what do you call this? Can be, can be rehab, can be
mm.
rehabilitated.
Yeah.
And and the thing is, they already instilled a nice core group already, within that system, and it brought good results in the third window. They won all 3 games. So props for the coaching staff. They did their part. Um, they did the right thing. I can tell you right now, they did the right thing for winning the third window without a doubt. Uh, but as a father, again, uh, I mean, I would be lying if I tell you I wasn't affected because
Mm,
only father would be affected after you see your son um, perform so well um, in the last bubble. But then again, we at least in the family try to be uh, reactive with situations that come. So, um, as the saying goes, if one door closes, another one opens, or or if a window shuts, another window will open.
mm,
Fair enough. Then the opportunity came, no? So he wasn't doing anything. And then I got in touch with an agent. Agent said, "Hey, I want to play and in 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 in
D-League.
Japan." Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, oh, fine, let's do it. Let's do it. I mean, life goes on. So, I'm sure after D League, what will be next? Another situation. Okay, let's do it. And another
Mm,
situation, and life goes on. I think it's nice because all of these challenges bring out the best characters in them. So that means they'll have to be strong. I mean,
mm,
us parents here we can only um, give so much that they'll have to decide on themselves. They have to work for what they really want in life and and just control whatever you can control. If you cannot control it, then just leave it to God because you
yeah,
did your best.
That's great to hear po from you that yun, madaming ang challenges, like lalo na yung mga anak niyo po, like they're popular na in basketball, like basketball's culture. So they're really challenges that will really be put to them, but then they're able to, who I don't know, I think they're able to accept it well, and they're able to still recuperate from like the final cut from Gilas and all these other, like hindi nga yung iba, si Juan nga hindi nasama dun sa bubble for the third window, but they're still able to take it positively, and they're able to still achieve what they want, yeah, through the B League, as you mentioned, because it's a really terrific opportunity that not a lot of Filipino athletes, like si Kiefer 30, and then siya pa lang yung third na that has the opportunity to actually play in Japan. So that was a really terrific opportunity that I believe that there's no regrets on why he took it.
Yeah, yeah, it's true, Diego. No? It's um opportunity came, and yeah, he just had to grab it. No? The thing is with the Gilas pool, it's always pride and honor for this family to be called up. If they receive a phone call, it's their way to, how can I put it? Kasi wala na tayong military training eh. The thing is,
Mm-hmm.
that's the best way to serve your country, military training and all, no. It's another way of defending the country. So they scrap it out for so many reasons. So this is the way giving back to the country. You're called up, tanggalin mo na lahat ng mga hinanakit, remove all of those uh you could say feelings, and serve the country in your best ability, in your best way. I mean, that was my intention from day one. That was my intention from day one to give the country its first Olympic medal. But now, in this situation, if you're called up again, go and take it. Give your 100%. Don't take it if you're not 100% because nothing's going to happen.
Yeah, there's a FIBA Asia Cup po in August, so that there's a chance that the pool might, some people might be added to the pool, then they have the chance to play, because the players now, they might be tired already. Like in the Dominican Republic game, parang napagod na yata yung ibang players. So maybe on August they'll try to insert other players that may also mesh with the system of Coach Tab.
Yeah, yeah, just like what Coach Norman Black mentioned in one of his interview. Even though they would put in perhaps PBA players, because there's a clamor for it now. I mean, I could sense these PBA players have to conform with the system of Coach Tab. If not, forget about it. They have to remove all of those diva mentality, all of those you know, I'm much better than them mentality, and in the system of Coach Tab, no one's an MVP,
No one, yeah.
no one's a star here. Everyone gets. It is all about ball rotation. It's all about teamwork. It's all about how to get the job done and to win. And that's how he thinks is the best way to win, through 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 dedication, hard work, and preparation. No? And those are, come to David. Those are not new formulas. Those are old
Mm.
formulas that every coach knows. But the thing is, Coach Tab instills in them in a very effective way.
Yeah, that's really terrific, because si 3D nga daw po, parang may joke nga daw sila pag elimination rounds sa Ateneo. Chill lang siya because yeah, he conforms to the system, and Coach Tab really gives equal opportunities to everyone. Pero sa finals, like when they played UP yata in season 81, he scored like 40 in game 2. So parang binibigyan ng freedom ni Coach Tab. Sige, ikaw na, bahala ka na dyan. So that's a great point nga na kailangan talaga conform ka dun sa system. Kasi kung hindi, Coach Tab's gonna be like, why will I even get you? You're not that special for me, for you not to follow
Correct,
me.
correct,
Parang ganun.
correct, correct, correct. And yeah, results are there. One of the youngest teams ever, 22,
Mm,
average age 22. I mean, uh, we've almost, we even got that close with the number 5 ranked team in the world, Serbia. We even
mm.
took the lead perhaps in the last 3 minutes. That close. So imagine we're there. We're there. It's our basketball program has never been this uh, exciting and never had been this so intense and so methodical. No, I mean, come on. I mean, there was a I saw it uh, in one of those social media 2 years ago or something. We tried competing with Serbia, but they
Blown out.
blasted us by, yeah, by
Yeah.
60 points or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
And we supposedly were the cream of the crop already of
Yeah.
back in the day. I mean, all due respect. But
Mm,
then again, the system of Coach Tab, something must be working, and that's
for sure.
props the to the coaching staff.
Yeah. One point po that I'd like to ask is yung social media effect. Kasi like in your time po when you were growing up, hindi naman, wala pa namang social media. Like it wasn't really the a platform that people would use. But now in social media, people have like a voice and they can mention like anyone. Kung gusto nila murahin, kung gusto nila insult, they can just tweet at them or IG comment or something like that. Pero like yun nga, your sons, they're also on the limelight in social media. Like you said, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. So for you as a father of like 6 children and like most of them are popular in like the sports world, how do you give them advice on how to handle social media? And syempre, it can be a disadvantage or an advantage. Depends on how you respond to it.
Um, how can I put it? Social media is like a two-edged sword, no?
Yeah.
It can work for you, and it can also work against you. So eh, it they're mature enough to know that it can work for them and it can also backfire. That's how important at the same time deadly social media is, particularly let's say the top platforms now, from Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, uh, among others. No, um, of course, uh, more often than not, social media has helped a lot. Perhaps it reached a level wherein my kids got known, I mean, recognized by their by their abilities, no, from streaming UAP games to let's say commercial or ads, no. So,
Mm.
but then again, those things, um, those medium, um, have to be controlled, no. When I say controlled, not everyone is going to like them. They would be bashed, I'm sure. I mean, I know at times, some of my kids would show me they're haters and all. But the one thing I made clear, no, was it's more beneficial than the other as of now. And in fact, um a lot of what do you call this? Um, you can say we would also receive a lot of help when it comes to social media, no? And right now, my boys, they have instilled that sense of that social responsiveness now. Wherein they have this social obligation to help out. Like there are several programs wherein jeepney drivers, especially last year, totally didn't have anything to eat um, because of the lockdown. No, I mean, social distancing was a norm, and public transportation was totally canceled. The different NGO groups approached us, foundations, and we auctioned off from shoes to jerseys and all. And social media helped a lot because those are those are vehicles, and those are campaigns. Those are um, you could say tools to 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 send information. Help out jeepney drivers, help out uh, victims of calamities. We would receive um, um, several numerous and social media as of now helped a lot, helped in a way. It's just a matter of just disregarding bashers and controlling it because um, because in this world you can never make everyone happy.
Yeah, and I think also when you have bashers, it means you're doing also something good. Kasi kung hindi naman maganda yung ginagawa mo, why will they bash you? I mean, why will they even give time and effort in like typing a tweet or sending a message to them? That means they can see that you're flourishing or you're being successful at like basketball or something else that you want to be really good at. So I think that's also a good sign na the bashers are there, but then sometimes they just go below the belt and it's really hard to not respond. So sometimes nga, like I had some guests that they had answers also to questions na some of them would really respond like paloko lang and then biglang they'll say sorry na lang ganun because it was only the height of their emotions when they said it maybe during the game or right after the game.
Yeah, yeah, it's yeah, those are a lot. Those are situations wherein, yeah, um, especially in this sport, it's quite, emotional roller coaster, as I would say it. At times
Yeah.
you're up, at times you're down. Go up again, then it will go down again.
Yeah.
That's how it goes.
How about po like a conversation or like advice that you won't forget, like that you could share here on the podcast that you had with like any of your sons or even your daughter? Na parang di mo makakalimutan that maybe you just told them or they approached you and then you gave them an advice na talagang cherish nila na hanggang ngayon parang it's for you guys it's very memorable and why do you think it was very memorable and it really stuck to them?
Growing up, my dad would put, um, you could say, a small note in the bathroom mirror, which I also did until now, and I passed it on to my kids. And in that small note, it's written. Uh, Perhaps you could consider it as a family motto.
Mm-mm.
Um, I'm becoming better and better in any way every day. Meaning to say, that has if that's our family motto we're in. Tomorrow will be another day. You have to be much better from what you were yesterday. Small
Yes.
steps, baby steps. It's fine. Well, just keep on growing. Even though
Mm-mm.
even an adult, I mean, just like me, I grew up with that motto. So imagine until now, I'm still learning a lot. I mean, um, learning a lot from YouTube, Google, from even from TikTok. It's so the information there, you'll just have to filter it. But the information is really impressive from financial to things on how to repair vehicles to
Yeah,
even
anything. You can Google anything po.
and the world has become so small now that I know even my kids will be, they'll be playing abroad. uh, a simple free Viber call is just within our palm,
Mm,
or a WhatsApp messenger,
mm.
or even a um so what do you call this, it's yeah, that's one motto, that's one thing that I'm sure they will have and remember for the rest of their lives, that I'm becoming better and better in any way every day.
Yeah, that's very and interesting for any audience or viewer, like even me, because yeah, sometimes there are days when you just want to lie down and be lazy. But then if you have that motto like ingrained in your mind, you're really gonna make it a point to do something different or like yeah, improve on something you've been constantly doing. But this day you're gonna like get better at it. So that's something that someone and anyone can absorb and apply in their own life as well, especially now in the pandemic. Like there's a lot of different things that are coming our way that we didn't expect. Yeah, so for the final part of the interview, well, these are like fun questions lang that I ask my guests also. And yeah, it's like yeah, it's not like serious questions anymore that I ask like anyone that comes on the podcast. So one of it is, I don't know if you watch All the Smoke in the US, yung podcast ni Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson. So in the end, they ask their guests if you have the opportunity to have dinner with five people, like 5 dinner guests, dead or alive, who would you choose?
Gosh. So you're asking me that now?
Yes. Any.
Well,
Doesn't need to be
First of all,
sports.
first of all, I haven't watched that show you're telling
Podcast.
me, but it sounds
Yeah.
interesting. Also interesting. But now with that impromptu question, yeah, I'll give you an impromptu answer. First, perhaps if I would like to have a dinner,
Mm-mm.
I would want to first what comes top of my mind is I would want to get to know more about my grandfather.
Mm.
Um, uh, he passed away I think when I was 5 years old. No? He used to be the mayor of Quezon City, Roberto Moranto, and I would read. In fact, I was doing my dissertation for with his work because I did a doctorate in public administration, and I kept reading his works and all, and it's quite amazing how public servants are, and how you should have a sense of what do you call this, service to others, no? And perhaps that's one person I would like to have dinner with, and I would like to get to know more about. Um, it's one, two. Um, this what do you call this? Oof, perhaps I would like to have dinner also with um, LeBron James.
Yeah.
Uh,
So a lot of people answered him also.
'Cause, Diego, forget about the accolades.
Mm.
Forget about who's better, MJ, Kobe, or
Yeah.
LeBron James.
Yeah.
Forget about that. Forget about that. For me, just look what this player has done. Just
Mm-hmm.
look at what he has done, not only in the NBA, but for the US and also for
Yeah.
the world.
Mm.
Um, why? Imagine the guy had to um, um what do you call this, at a young age strive. He never had that father figure from at a young age. He's one of the Americans, few Americans that love his wife from a young age and never
Yeah.
philandered.
High school sweetheart nga yata.
Giving you idea of the values of the person already, giving
Yeah.
already a sense that hey, this is a great guy. This is a
Mm-mm.
great guy. Forget about his tattoos. Forget about the forget about then then what he has accomplished. Not only he's a voice for the youth. I mean, not to mention, he stood up with Black Lives Movement, and
Yeah.
so not only is he an MVP, not only he is a family man, but
Mm-mm.
also he is a catalyst for change in the
Mm-mm.
U.S. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, um, I, I mean, I'm not good in American politics and all. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm sure I'm going to have a lot of bashers, but he brought he was part of at least in the NBA brought
Mm.
change, um and did not want to conform with what um um racial bias there is in the US, and it has inspired so many people abroad. It has inspired so many people worldwide. So yeah, so that's my second. No, third, um third would be oof, top of my mind.
Yeah. Anyone
um
poet to find.
yeah, anyone, no. You caught me there, Diego. I'm blank. If I think about it more in detail, I would love to have more time with a lot of people, like
Yeah.
my family, my wife, my kids,
Mm.
uh, those stuff. No, but um, perhaps, but to just give interest to this program, no,
Mm.
perhaps another person I would like um to have uh, dinner with would be Albert Einstein. Okay,
Mm.
uh, if I'm mistaken, he's a Jew from Austria. That the Americans brought in for the Manhattan Project, which eventually brought about the atomic bomb, no? Um, Hiroshima and Nagasaki. I would like to know more about this genius
Yeah,
intellectual.
genius talaga, yeah.
I know he'll be an introvert, that's for sure.
Mm-mm.
But um, what do you call this? But what do you call this? But who knows? Who knows? No. Yeah, and then perhaps the last two. If I become more, perhaps if I become more biblical, of course, I would like to get to know about Jesus more.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Someone
yeah.
answered Jesus also. I forgot who, but like one of my guests also.
Parang perhaps being the Last Supper. I hope I'm not being blasphemous.
Yeah.
Pero
Yeah.
plus doon, pang 14 ako, no?
Yeah.
Nike, Nike last meal. Kasi
Yeah.
na doon sa kanila, no? I hope I'm not being, I hope the Catholic Church won't exercise. What do you call the term? Banished? No. Oof. What do you call the term that if they want to exclude you from the Catholic Church? I'm trying to remember the
Oh,
term.
I'm not sure. Ban?
They
No,
did
I'm
that
not.
to
Not.
they did that to Madonna twice already. So excommunicate. I hope
Ah,
they,
okay.
they won't communicate me. So uh, and perhaps the fifth of relevance, no? Tama ba? That's your question.
Yeah, no,
Uh,
anyone po that you would want to talk to for like 2 to 3 hours when you guys eat. Parang. So it can be anyone.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, right now, I'm blank. I'm blank. I'll leave it. I'll leave the last question, the last one. Perhaps you'll invite me someday in the near future, uh, and I'll answer
Mysterious
your last.
person na lang po, pwede rin. Surprise guest.
Uh, I don't know. Right now,
Yeah.
I'm blank.
Yeah. For the
Forward,
final
forward.
question, For the final question po, it's also like it's for fun lang po. So I've told you po that I started my podcast like December 2020 and I've invited numerous athletes on the podcast. So for you po, who would you suggest that I should guest here on the DVD show? And it doesn't need to be limited to only basketball athletes, also like other sports. But yeah, a lot of my guests are basketball related individuals.
Yeah. I think if there are two guests that I really want you to have, first would be Heidelin Diaz.
Mm,
Um, she has a strong chance to have the first Olympic gold medal. She has a good chance.
yeah.
She's been working for the past 8 years or more.
Mm,
That's one. Or even our Filipino golfer. She might just, because if I'm not mistaken, golf is an Olympic sport right now, and
yeah.
she might just she might just bag it. You'll never
Mm,
know. She might
mm,
just bag it this Olympic.
yeah.
So perhaps two those two female athletes would be very interesting, and
Yeah.
it would be impactful, because you're already dealing world class. This is really world class.
Yeah.
Um, athletes.
Yeah, those are great names po. And I think some other of my guests have also mentioned them because yeah, it's really interesting because not a lot of the other sports are also talked about in podcasts like these.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah.
for the final word, Paul, I would just want to thank you again for joining me
Thank you,
here
thank
on
you.
the DVD show. And I hope po that everyone enjoys our conversation. And I hope po you also had fun here on my podcast. And do you have any final words po before you go?
No, no. I just wanted to say thank you very much, Jagger, for inviting me to this program. I would also greet all your viewers and your followers. It's very. I know this just the beginning, Diego, of so many wonderful, um, monumental. What do you call this, events in this program, and I hope and I I I I hope that this will flourish in something with immense, gigantic scale. You'll never know. So just keep it up, and more power to your program.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Paul, again for joining me here on the podcast. And before you go, is it okay if we take a picture?
Yeah, sure. Go.
Okay,
No problem.
I'll take it from here. One, two, three. Okay, thank you so much, Paul, again for joining me here on the DVD show, and stay safe, Paul. Bye
Thank
bye.
you.